and welcome to another episode of Arabic with Imran. This is the second part of my conversation with Nejra. In the first part of the conversation, we learnt about Nejra's journey into learning Arabic and where she learned Arabic and her background. So if you haven't checked that out, I suggest going back and listening to that first. But in this part, we're going to talk, hopefully mostly in English, about tips and techniques that she did to learn 3 languages at the same time. I hope you enjoy, and now on to Nejra. Can I switch to English a little bit, شوي? حتى, or we can just mix it up.
Yeah.
But I want to understand how, so you speak French, تحكي إنجليزي أكيد، فرنساوي، اللغة الفرنسية، بوسناوية، وأيضا
خلاص.
خلاص. فكرت 4.
4. Did you not say 4?
I said 4, yeah. English, إنجليزي، فرنساوي،
Arabic.
بوسناوي، عربي عفوا. عربية. كيف يعني كيف how did you learn at different times? So obviously you learned at the same time French and English. So can you give us some tips on how you learn these 4 languages in different, like, do you focus on one, or did you I'm interested.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where you actually wrote your thesis in French is like amazing.
Thank you.
In Australia, like, we're not in, you know what I mean, like Australia's a very monolingual country.
To be fair, like, it probably wasn't French.
No, to be fair, it wasn't.
No, but as in, like, that it was probably more like Fringlish. Like, the final result was probably not, did not sound correct.
Yeah, I'm sure it was fine.
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, if you're lucky to sort of grow up. So I grew up, youngest of 3 siblings. So I had some slight exposure to sort of Bosnian, Serbo-Croatian growing up. Never spoke it really a lot, but I could understand it, and never learnt it in a formal context. So yeah, even to this day, like, my Bosnian is not great, but I've noticed, like, just by virtue of learning other languages, that it has somehow improved a lot, even though it's like an entirely different school of language. But it's amazing. There's some, obviously, like, brain plasticity thing that happens where as you learn other languages, you can kind of improve one without actively practicing.
Well, what's really cool is you تتكلمين اللغة البوسناوية مع أخواتك, like with your sisters, not only with your parents. Like, normally, typically you'd speak with your parents, your native tongue, اللغة الأم.
It's really good for code switching.
Yeah,
but of the 3 of us, I speak it the most, which is not to say that I don't speak it the best. My accent is really bizarre and my grammar is horrific, but I really enjoy speaking it. But yeah, like, as for tips, I think that was pretty good advice I think I heard at the time when I was, like, in high school. But basically, you think about what you enjoy doing in your native language and then try to find that equivalent in other languages. So for example, if you're someone who loves films, then just watch films in that target language. Like, don't try to do some practice that wouldn't work for you in English anyway. So yeah, in high school, like, for French, I just, at that time, I mean, probably from, like, the age of 5 to about 21, 22, I was obsessed with watching films. Like, I've sort of for whatever reason, it's sad, like, it's not really my hobby anymore, but so I watched a lot of films. So for accent, that's like a good tip. Obviously, like, talking to people, I think the best thing is immersion, but that's hard if you obviously don't have, like, the means to travel. So like, with French, because I went on exchange there, that was really where my language improved a lot, because it had sort of plateaued after high school. So immersion is really good. I think just, like, finding what you love and then, like, the equivalent. So I really I like learning new words. I really like linguistics. I think even for English, like, I have my Google Doc of new English words that so nerdy.
Wow.
But it's, like, the thing that I'm, like, most proud of in my life is that Google Doc.
This is
English
another level.
words.
Yeah. So, but you also had a system. I remember you talking about, like, in the morning you'd study. You'd have that time where you'd actually study. But would you study each of them, or would you study one?
No. Like, it just follow what you like. I've completely neglected French, for example.
Yeah.
Like, and I would like to get back into it. Bosnian as well. I think at the moment I'm really focusing on Arabic. I used to wake up quite early. I love, like, early morning, especially because, like, Australian weather is really beautiful. So you sort of wake up 5 or 6 with the birds. Like, it's very...
Not all of us, but yeah.
Sacred time. But So I used to do that. I use Anki, which is pretty good. It's like flashcards. I use like italki, which is an online platform.
Yeah, I've always been meaning to do that. I've never done it.
But your like Arabic is amazing because your approach is quite different because you focus on Fusha.
Not really. I kind of mix it up, to be honest.
Imran is like a massive nerd and he listens to a lot of history podcasts, but also I've noticed he has lots of Arabic books and he just sort of notates them and translates them a lot. So he'll translate like Al-Ghazali. Amazing. So is that
I'm not very good at it.
What's your method?
I listen to a lot. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of talks, a lot of Islamic kind of lectures and stuff. I find that you can listen to them as a boring lecture, but if it's in Arabic, it actually becomes interesting. Yeah. And I think I just generally love talking to people. So I have this system, or the way I learned was actually just talking to people. Yep. But some people,
extrovert.
Yeah. but some people, they're shy. So I totally get that. Yeah. You know, Anissa, she likes to see things, read it, and more visual learning. So when we used to teach a class, I used to say, no books, khalas, just listen. But obviously not everyone learns like that. So, but I guess orally I would, that's just how I learn. And then obviously being able to speak and stuff like that. But actually my grammar is really crap. So I need to work on my grammar. My translation is not amazing. So when I'm doing, I enjoy doing translations. I enjoy it. But when I look at, so I compare my translation to some of the books I'm reading and their translation, mine's really bad. So I have to figure out how to.
I don't believe that at all. Like I think
no, it is like if you read it, it's.
You are very humble, and I think like what's always struck me, and I even like everyone says that you've really got. You were saying how you struggle with French, like learning French, but you really have that musicality for sort of these Semitic languages, and like your accent for Arabic, for Farsi. I mean, I'm not sure if. That's obviously not a Semitic language, but yeah, these sort of
the region,
Middle Eastern languages, like your Arabic, your Farsi, your Turkish, Somali, you know, you've got the accent.
Shukran, but if I don't know if we speak to a Somali or if we speak to a Turkish, they go, nah, man, he speaks like an Aussie, mate. So.
Oh, that's me with Arabic. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a weird hybrid. Bogan French. I feel like I sound French when I talk Arabic.
It comes out like Can I just ask also so تعلمت الفصحى بالجامعة وأيضا هل أنت تدرسين أو تتعلمي العامية في ايتوكي صح؟ هل تفضلين عامية أو فصحى أو
يعني
تختلط بينهما؟
أنا بحب تنتين يعني أنا بحب فصحى بحب عامية حسب بالسياق لازم تنتين يعني لأنه بدي أقرأ وأكتب فمنشان هيك لازم فصحى وبدي أقرأ القرآن بس تواصل مع الناس يعني لازم عامية طبعا ممكن تستخدم فصحى بس أحسن في رأيي أحسن
عامية صح. في البداية أنا حاولت أن أتحدث في عامية مثلا إذا أتحدث مع شخص من لبنان I was like كيفك منيح like trying to but I found it so hard
ليش؟
مثل لغة مختلفة تماما لكن الآن أنا أختلط بين فصحى عامية so I just really mix it up and like if they don't understand me that's not like
that's a them problem
yeah that's not my problem and I because I found it really hard like even Mostly it's so hard there's so many dialects so I'm like you know what I'm just going to speak how I speak just see how it goes actually that we were meant to say that in English like dialect or fusha which one do you prefer and
I don't have a preference honestly like you need I mean it depends what your goals are but I think like
I think you need both
yeah I think so and I find them all beautiful I think having a base in fusha is like really good because even though as you say they are like different languages in many ways there are so many links like they're not entirely different languages either and I think it's quite enriching that there is this sort of difference because obviously with English to an extent you might have like slang and that sort of thing. But generally speaking, I don't feel that there is as prominent of a, it's not like an entirely different language, formal versus...
Except Scottish.
Yeah.
Man, I can't understand those. You've been to Scotland?
No.
I was like...
I have. Yeah, I have.
Yeah. I remember I went in this fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
And the guy was clearly from the subcontinent. And I was like, bro, I can't understand you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, بشكل عام يعني it's beautiful, the difference. I think I find it really interesting. And you kind of, I guess, tend to kind of go towards one region but even some of the things, for example, Iraqi, when they say things, they'll use a Fusha word, but in a completely different context. And I find that, super interesting.
Yeah, but Iraqi is like probably the most similar to Fusha. Is that what they say?
I don't know. Everyone I've met, if I meet someone from Masr, they'll say Masriya. It's the closest to Fusha. Palestine. Iraqi كمان نفس الشيء. بس my view حجاز يعني لأن جاءوا الحجاج من أنحاء العالم وبعد عدة أجيال هم بشكل عام يتكلمون بالفصحى أو some type of variation of it. So I find that quite easy. And then مش بلاد الشام. أنا أفضل بلاد الشام بس مش كل بلاد الشام فلسطينية وأردنية. يعني أنا أفهم أكثر. حتى لبنانية يعني بحسب المناطق. يعني الناس من منيا يتكلمون شيء غير تماما مختلف من الشمال مختلف من
I find Lebanese Arabic quite hard because of the cutting of words, but I love the sound of it. Like it's really
أسألك يعني what language would you like to learn most next? ولماذا?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like it's been obviously I started learning Arabic in 2016 and I haven't started anything new since then, so it sort of feels like it could be time, but there's so many languages that I would like to learn. Like if just off the top of my head, I would really love to learn German, Farsi, Russian, Portuguese and Italian. Like I think those are like life goals, and if I had to pick one today to be fluent in, it would probably be German, just because there's a lot of like poetry that I really love in German. And
it sounds like a very poetic language.
I don't know if that's what it is, but I find it really interesting just from like an outsider perspective. I would love to learn. I love those kind of stereotypically rougher sounding languages like Portuguese and German. But like German just feels too difficult right now because I think I really am someone who benefits from like a class environment for languages. I should have said that actually when you asked with tips. Like I think, like for particularly harder languages, like I would need like I need homework and feedback. And so I've started a few times learning Italian because I have a close friend who only started a few years ago and is now actually doing her PhD in Italian studies. Her name is Lily, and just like on the topic of like code switching, like with sisters and stuff with like Bosnian, Serbo-Croatian, like with her, I would love it if we could code switch. And so I've tried a few times and I love Italian, and just also in terms of like the literature and like political theory, like there are really interesting political traditions coming out of Italy with like the autonomia movement and these sort of really, really, really interesting. And you can read stuff in translation, obviously, but
you want to get to the source.
But so I couldn't tell you which one. Like we've wanted a few times to learn Farsi, but I am quite wary as well, without sort of over exaggerating that aspect, because not everything goes through that sort of colonial lens. But I am very aware of what I find in myself, and I can perceive in other people, where you can have this really like colonial relationship sort of to learning languages, where it's very much thinking everything is yours to own, to access. Very like fetishistic relationships. So I find that to be a case a lot with like white people with like wanting to acquire languages. When actually the reason I've held off for so long is because there's so much I still need to improve with the languages I already know. Like even English, as I said, like I'm like I need to like English is such an amazing language.
No, I totally get that.
So I don't want to be greedy in a way. So that's
when
what
you want to give it. You want to give it that respect.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just a thing or a commodity. I mean, it does inevitably become that to an extent, because there is,
Look,
when you learn a language,
for those people, 100%.
Part of it is the commodity as well. Like, it's like, I speak these languages. Like, I'm very cultured.
Yep. No. That's a 100%. That's a very good point.
What about you? What do you want to learn?
That's a good question. For me, like I hear you what you're saying, and the way if you view it, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd view it through a dini type of a lens, and I just find that in the Quran it says al-sinatikum wa alwanikum, in your languages, in your colors, are signs, and every lugha, kull lugha has beauty and ways of expression, and these are all signs. And also, when you understand someone's language, or not understand someone, when you can speak someone's language, it changes it completely, in terms of the relationship. And, me being in banking, finance, trade, doing deals. No. But I generally, I love that. I do love that connection. I'm not going to lie. Like, I love that.
And it's not good to be, like, completely cynical. I think, as I said, we can over-exaggerate the, like...
100% with that. Yeah, if it affects your ego and all that kind of stuff, absolutely, 100%. And
it's more just because I find people, like, we do things for contradictory reasons. We are contradictory, and a lot of the time we'll assign meaning or explanation to why we do something, but actually the behavior precedes,
that's true. That's true. So we have to definitely keep that in check.
But what language?
What language? That's really good. I go through these moods and phases, to be honest. Like, it does kind of stem from, say, for example, we're going to travel to Turkey and do some translating there. So I just really wanted to learn Turkish. And a lot of my friends are Turkish. So I really wanted to, so for me, it would be Turkish, Uyghur. So Uyghur, such a beautiful community. I grew up in.
Especially in Adelaide,
Adelaide Uyghur community. It's hard to say the best, one of the best, but one of the best that I've experienced communities in Australia. Farsi, كمان Farsi, علشان تاريخنا المجيد, and all the scholarship in Farsi. And my Malay is really dodge. I got to work on my Malay. But there's one block, and obviously Chinese. It's such a block. So I totally understand when I speak Arabic with people and they can't speak and they get really defensive. I fully get that. And I think it's because of the shame. Like when someone speaks to me in Chinese and they're like just asking for directions and I said, sorry, I can't speak Chinese. The Asian dad shame look that you get from these people is just like, whoosh, like you just been smacked. Oh man. And I think so that I guess is a massive block.
Definitely.
Alhamdulillah, أنا جدا فخور بي. I'm very proud like of where I'm from. There's nothing to do with that. It's more of the effort that I'd have to go through just to be conversant. Because my dad أبي هو صيني بس هو من جنوب الصين. هو كانتونيزي. هو لا يستطيع أن يتكلم في الماندرين. هو لا يقرأ ولا يكتب. ولهذا السبب يعني هو جاهل. هو قال أنا جاهل. That's all we have time for because I got to pick up the kids. Nejra, شكرا جزيلا. الله يبارك فيك. شكرا. حياكم الله. Thank you so much for that very interesting episode.
شكرا كثير وانت يعني كانت فرصة حلوة يعني.
شكرا.
وإن شاء الله like
we'll continue مرة أخرى إن شاء الله. الله يعطيك العافية. يلا مع السلامة. السلام عليكم.